Welcome to the BaseballSwing.com. Joe Colucci here with you, taking a look at Will from the Bat Bros and his move, which, full disclosure, I love. Love the channel, and he's an icon, man. I'll tell you, it's great. Anyway, let's dive right into it. So we're going to draw a couple lines, and we're going to do our normal thing and talk a little bit about what's good about Will's swing here, and also why it's so power-based. So the first thing we're going to look at, if I turn the lines on, is Will's leg kick. So at this point, he does a couple really good things, and again, very specific to power. He's got the leg kick way up in the air. I drew this circle here because his knee's almost hitting his elbow. Whether that plays or not in a baseball game as opposed to a quest to hit home runs, I'm not so sure. But and listen, I've seen guys at the major league level with leg kicks like this, and it definitely can help generate some power. The other thing I want to point out is, if you notice here, Will's got really zero turn. He's simply in the chest and shoulders. He's got his rear hip coiled. He's on top of that right leg, and it's flexed. You'll notice if you look at his shoe down here, he's really not listing over that leg. He's coiled up really, really well here. So kudos to him. As we advance forward, I just want you to look at where his elbow is. It's horizontal to the ground, and this is something unique and I think a key factor. As we move forward, this is the bat tip, all right? So this blue line here, jetting down Will's bat, looks like he is tipping the bat, kind of like a Barry Bonds or Gary Sheffield and a lot of guys. I love the bat tip. It's an athletic move that creates some rhythm. It also is a great way to do what comes next, which is slot the bat. So I'm sensing Will does this mostly with his hands. If you were to draw your right elbow back and, I guess in today's terms, scap load, and your hands were nice and relaxed, that bat typically would tip forward towards the plate like Will's here. Will does it a little different, and I'm going to scrub this back and forth for you. It looks like he's taking his bottom hand and just kind of pulling it in. I can't be sure of that, but it looks like, yeah, that's kind of what's happening, which is fine. So he's doing it with his hands as opposed to scap loading with his rear elbow, pulling it behind him, and consequently the bat would want to tip forward. You saw this move like in a lot of the older guys too, Babe Ruth, etc. Ted Williams had a great bat tip. Whether they do it with this little bit of a turn or as Will does it here with his hands, keeping his shoulders very square, kind of cool the way he does that. Some guys do it that way. Nothing wrong with pulling it back with the elbow and letting your kind of lead arm get across your chest. Creates a little bit of connection, in fact, so that's a good thing there. So I just did want to touch on that. Will's kind of flipping that bat barrel over. One other thing here, again, very common and big in power guys. Notice Will's head level at toe touch, and as he gets into heel plant, he's really kind of sinking into those legs. All right, that's a good thing, okay? And even if you're not just going full nuke, trying to hit home runs, to some extent, you should be at least grounded or sinking into those legs if you are in a posture such as this on toe touch, pretty straight up and down. So to generate some power, again, he just sinks into his legs. Notice that rear leg also kind of kicking in and down. All right, so these are all big power moves. Got a good long stride. And something he's doing here too, as I scrub it back and forth, he's slotting that bat. So he's got the bat, pretty steep here at toe touch. Watch how it slots down nicely. That's beautiful. Okay, now his hands haven't dropped at all, partly because I think this is a high pitch and his hands need to stay a little higher. But he can get away with the high hands here because he bat tipped. That bat tip moving, if we go back a few frames, that bat coming kind of forward like such means it wants to come backwards as you kind of stride into the ball. So So really good job here. All right, we move on to our next line. So I got Will's bat path kind of mapped out here. And for a home run guy, not a big uppercut. In fact, very level swing. If his hands were a little lower, I think he'd be in the zone earlier. But he does a pretty good job here. He's pretty much in the zone at this point. And he swings along that line and then around and through in a very kind of level fashion. I want you to note something here, though. This is very much a body-driven swing in terms of how he gets it to the ball and through the ball, even though he uses his hands early on to kind of trigger and set things up. So again, a unique blend of styles. Overall, in general, really love this move. One thing here, just prior to impact, I would like to see Will a little more connected if he were playing competitively and wanted to hit, for a higher average. His arms are jetting out a little bit in front of him. Now, he's still got a decent bend in this right arm, and he's a little early on this pitch. Consequently, you'll see him pull it over a little bit to the left side. But at this point in the swing, I would prefer to see this right elbow more connected to the right side. That would pull this lead arm in closer to his chest, and he would achieve a more connected position. That all said, he's trying to hit nukes. So it's not like you can't hit nukes if you were connected, but I think he's going 110% with his body and just driving through it. But a real hard, fast, mean intentions with the body. You'll see him get all kind of twisted up here. And that's not horrible balance, believe me. And it almost doesn't matter after the ball's gone anyway. But this dude is, he's a player. He can hit, he can swing it, knows what he's doing. I'm sure over the years since he's kind of launched this Bat Bros website and whatnot and the YouTube channel, he's probably in the gym and in the cages focusing on hitting the ball hard and smashing it. And good for him. That's a lot of fun. This guy might have hit more home runs over the last, 6-8 years than anybody in the world. Partially because he's got, pretty good mechanics and he's a good player. I can just see it. This kid is athletic. Love the way he kind of comes through the ball there. Really body dominated. And I'm going to just kind of get rid of these lines for a second. I'm going to play the swing through a few more times. Watch how his body clears out of the way and then the arms are slinging in there and catching up. He goes at it hard, as he should. He's trying to hit nukes. So, again, good for him. But this is really a pretty high-level swing, and I suspect gunned ahead and said, hey, man, you got to hit, for a high average. He toned this down a bit and probably tightened up those mechanics. But I would never do that to a student who swung like this if this was their natural instinct, because this swing plays. It really does. All right, that's it for now. Just throw a fun little video out there looking at Will. Hope you enjoyed it. Please go to thebaseballswing.com. I have a lesson promo going over there. You can get your first lesson for $1. We'll talk a little bit about your swing. We'll get on the phone and do that. We'll send you back a video with some lines drawn on it and kind of a voiceover to critique it. But you can get that first swing review for $1. If it makes sense that we move forward and work together, then we'll jump into a regular lesson package. But for now, Joe Colucci, thebaseballswing.com. Please like and subscribe. Leave your comments and questions below. Be happy to talk to you about it.